I am here at Utah Airgun, one of the largest airgun companies in the country. They carry a huge selection of airguns. They have an indoor range, service department, supplies, everything you could think of for the airgun world. I've heard all about this place. Now we're gonna go take a look. Let's go have some fun. And this is it. This is Utah Airgun. And I have heard stories about this place. I've met a number of the people at SHOT Show, including Spencer.
Yep.
So Spencer, what am I looking at in here?
So this is our showroom here at Utah Airguns. We have airguns from all the major manufacturers that we carry on the floor, as well as a bunch of accessories. We've got our shooting range over there on the right.
We'll have to play in there later.
Yeah, for sure. Goes out to 35 yards. There's paper, automatic target retrievers,
Okay.
and steel kind of scattered all throughout. It's super fun.
So I am a complete novice in the airgun world. How about we start with what manufacturers you carry, why you carry them? You know, I'm assuming you only carry the top brands, right?
Yeah.
And so what are the brands we're looking at here?
So these are Air Venturi Avengexes. So we kind of carry a little bit of everything. We don't only carry like extreme high end. We have a little bit of something for everybody, whether you're just getting started and you want something a little bit cheaper.
We have some bullpup style here.
Yep, so these are from Air Max, Crate, Cayman. These are all different models of guns that Air Max sells.
Okay. and we got, what do we have over here?
So this is some McCavity Arms guns, and then this is one of our more entry-level guns. This is the Umarex Nodos.
Okay.
So lot more accessible for guys who are just wanting to kind of check it out.
Price range?
I'm not in sales, but I think they're like 250 to 260 bucks.
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Wow.
So you got to get a fill source for it, and then you can put any scope you've got on it already. They all come with magazines.
So that's entry level. Point me to, like, I want to be top competitor out at the matches.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of depends on the style of match you're looking at.
Sure. Something like you shoot.
Yeah, so for bench rest and speed, I shoot a gun that's very similar to this. This isn't my gun, but it's very similar. This is the FX Impact M4.
Okay.
This one's done up with all the extra goodies and accessories. So we've got the Air Marksman Loki rail and the Air Marksman backbone, along with the rib cages that kind of help protect and give you some more rigidity. Gives you a full-length arc rail on the bottom with some QD cups.
Wow. Rough price range on a rig like this?
So these start stock at $2,100.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you what.
And obviously that's without optics and all that.
Yeah, no optics, no aftermarket rails, no aftermarket bottle.
So it's pretty easy to put $4 or $5 grand into one of these.
Yeah, no, it's very similar in setup costs to a high-end rifle like a Voodoo.
Yeah.
High-end rifle like a Voodoo,
Yeah.
or your custom center fires, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and then,
the difference is, you go to a center fire match like I'm doing this weekend, I'm going to shoot 150 rounds, boom, there goes 150 bucks.
Right.
Plus, as you know, hours of time in the reloading room.
Yeah.
Whereas 200 rounds of high precision slugs is 25 bucks.
Wow.
Right?
Not to mention, so one of the things that's really, I like rimfire because I can just grab it and go, right?
Yeah.
I spend hours reloading and tuning and
Same.
shooting. You do it too, I know, for your PRS stuff. The attraction to me in rimfire, and now I'm really seeing the attraction here with airgun, is you grab a box of pellets or slugs, you go to the range, and you're still shooting teeny tiny little groups, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very similar in accuracy. So the NRL 22 matches I go to locally, airguns compete top 10, top 5, top 3. Haven't won one yet, but we're getting there.
What percentage, so like my NRL matches are pretty low, like 15, 20 people. I don't know what they're like out here, but what percentage do you think are shooting airguns these days?
10 to 15%, maybe on if all the airgunners showed up, but our matches are 50 people.
Oh, wow.
Right, so we have some of the biggest NRL 22 clubs in the country here, so lots of competition and lots of good shooters.
I'm noticing, just like for centerfire, I mean, this is all like full-blown centerfire optics. I mean, we're talking big brands, Night Force.
Oh, yeah.
Athlon. I think you said you shoot a Zeiss.
Yep.
We got Vortex. I mean, everything's down here. I mean, it's not like you're getting some $100 Tasco scope for your airgun. Not like the old days, right?
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, if you think about it, you're still in the precision game, right? So you still want a precision rifle optic to go on your precision airgun.
I'm assuming just like with centerfire, you guys are choosing mill most of the time?
I prefer mill. We sell both,
Yeah.
but I would say most guys are shooting mill.
Yeah, and that's pretty common in the PRS world.
Especially in the competition realm. I would say, 95 out of 100 guys are shooting mill.
So maybe if you sell a bench rest setup, you might sell an MOA setup.
Yeah, or
something.
guys who just prefer MOA. That's kind of what they grew up knowing, and that's what they're comfortable with. We sell a lot of MOA scopes too.
So I went out my first NRL match. Well, to this day, I still have an MOA scope, but I didn't realize what a tactical disadvantage MOA was at an NRL match. Having to take multiple turns on a dial compared to my buddies that are turning, 4 numbers.
Yeah, it's way easier to think in base 10 for me. So
yeah, exactly.
No, I 100% agree.
Okay, let's go look at some other parts of the story.
Yeah.
All right, we're about to walk away, and then I noticed a ton of night vision and thermal. So what is that all about in an air gun place?
So, interestingly enough, I've done a lot of stuff with guns, but the singular most fun time I've ever had with guns is at night with my air gun with a thermal on it.
Wow.
It is the most fun you can have. I'm not even kidding. So we sell all kinds of thermal products from, your RH25, like clip-on optics, all the way up to your dedicated, iWraith hybrids.
What is something like these? What kind of price? I don't shoot thermals, so what are we looking at?
So something like a clip-on, which you can use as like a handheld scanner or as a clip-on in front of a normal optic or as a standalone optic. This is $49.99, so about $5,000.
Okay.
And then I honestly don't know what this costs, but I know they get very expensive, up to like $17,000, $18,000, $19,000.
Wow.
But you can also have some lower entry models that are, not quite that as expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Walking around SHOT Show, I've seen my share of thermals, and it's amazing where that market's gone.
Oh yeah. So one of my favorites is the iRay Bolt series. So it's got a very similar form factor to your traditional scope.
But that's thermal.
But it's a thermal scope.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're really awesome. They work in the daytime, kind of, if it's like not a super hot day.
Yeah.
But at night, it's like not even close to night vision.
And you guys have one of the largest thermal selections in the area, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, we are now over in the pellet land.
Yep. So these are the pellets and slugs that we stock on the floor. We have tons more in the back. This is just what we keep right up here in the floor for everybody.
Good grief. This is such a different world for me. I'm used to walking into a big box store and picking up some 22 cal pellets. And,
right.
And so all of these do something different, right?
Yep.
They all have a purpose.
Yeah, so depending on what you're trying to do, whether you're shooting pellets, slugs, different calibers, we go all the way from 17 cal up to 50 cal.
And hunting, paper, whatever
hunting,
it is, right?
Paper. If you're shooting small game, large game, it totally depends on what gun you select and then your projectile selection as well. So even in pellets, these are the Hades pellets.
Okay.
I don't have any open, but I can get you some. But you can see the front is kind of open like a hollow point.
Okay.
Right. So these are really good at pest control, small game.
Gotcha.
And then you've got your traditional pellet that you're more used to.
Just a rounded tip.
Yep. This
mushroom
rounded
tip, whatever.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
And this is what a lot of guys will shoot for. Bench rest, speed. So I shoot just standard pellets for speed competition and bench rest as well.
And these are slugs, right?
Yeah, so these are our slugs from Zan specifically. These are 177 cal. These are just small, tiny 13 grainers.
So they literally look like a 9mm bullet, at least the picture kind of thing. I mean, it's
very similar, deep cavities. And then over here, these are some of our bigger slugs. They're a 357 cal, so
wow,
shooting out of a big gun like these Texans up here from Air Force.
So legitimately, like if I had a hunting, like if I wanted to hunt with these, obviously, we think of like squirrels and whatnot, but what can you legitimately hunt with an air gun?
Well, first off, it totally depends on where you live and what your regulations are.
Okay.
Right?
So within regulations,
like there's guys who live in states where you can hunt big game with an air gun who have shot multiple deer with guns like these Texans up here. Or
no
big
joke.
Burger. Oh yeah.
So like legit deer hunting with a pellet gun.
Yeah, I mean they shoot very this is kind of a easy way to see, like that's a 35 caliber slug.
Yeah, I mean that's
large
no joke
hollow
right there.
point, right? And then like I was mentioning earlier, they go up to 50 cal, and there's even some custom like 72 cal and even larger. Like there's a guy in Africa who killed a Cape buffalo.
No way.
With an air, yeah.
Is this like history?
Yeah, so this is kind of like our old school rack. We've got a lot of old style air guns, a lot of pump guns.
Beeman or
yeah, we
Sheridan.
got a little bit of everything in here.
Oh, I think I had that one there with that pistol. I'm pretty sure I had one of those as a kid, the side cock one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I remember that. So this, I'm seeing that it says silence. These look like suppressors, but we were just talking a second ago, they're not suppressors.
Yeah, they're called a moderator.
Moderator.
Yep. So these work very similarly to a traditional suppressor, but they are for airgun use only.
Okay.
So,
and they don't obviously they don't affect the tune or anything like that. Are you tuning around them?
Not typically. Like you can, but I've tried everything on this shelf, and I personally didn't notice enough of a difference to be like, oh, this is the one I'm going to use. I'm mostly looking for how it sounds, right?
Okay.
Quieting down the pop of the air. So.
Okay. And do they require the same purchasing requirements as a suppressor?
Nope.
So
air guns are not a firearm, so these are not a firearm suppressor. They are an airgun moderator.
Okay.
So you can buy a whole package from us, and we can ship it right to your door. Moderator, gun, air tank, everything.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
UPS drops it off. I go shoot 10 minutes later.
Yep. You have to sign for it, and then you go shoot. It's pretty sweet.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to go check out, or at least try to get into their repair center. All right, Spencer, we are now back in the employee-only area, and you're taking us back to, where are we going?
So we're going to our service and repair center. So
okay.
We are the service and warranty center for all of FX air guns in the States. So if you ever have a problem with your air gun or have a warranty problem, it comes back to these guys. And
so anybody in North America has a problem here, or in the United States has a problem. Yeah. This is where it comes. So high-tech diagnostics, I see computers running, I see tanks everywhere.
So yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot going on back here. These guys are the best at what they do.
Cool. And you got a lot of techs. I mean, you guys do a lot of work, huh?
Yep. So this is, we also do like custom builds for people. So if people want to buy like a base gun and upgrade it with rails or get a scope mounted inside it, we do all that for them. So
okay.
Josh and Rob mostly do a lot of the repairs, and then Connor, Damien, and Kyler are the ones who do a lot of like the new gun fulfillment stuff.
So what's the most common thing that somebody sends an air gun back for? Leaks?
Yeah, primarily leaks.
Leaks and tuning?
Yeah, someone is like, I'm not comfortable messing around with all the different settings on my air gun. Send it over here. These guys take it, tune it up, get it shooting really, really good, and then send it back to you.
That's really cool. And obviously having that firing line out there, you fix it, you shoot it, you can prove it's working, show them it's tuned, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. We really try to make sure it's good before we send it back.
Yeah.
You know, we're a little behind right now, admittedly, but it's like usually about 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay.
Time. Yeah, leaks. Like the guns, they're not fragile, but like you can't abuse it. So,
yeah.
You know, if you dry fire it without air in the gun, that damages it. So that's something we have to fix. And a lot of the guns we see are old. You know, they're 3-4 years old, and they've been shot a lot. And because it's cheap to shoot, you know, guys will shoot the crap out of them. So,
yeah.
Like, you know, I wouldn't say we see a ton of guns, but we do see a lot just because there's a ton of FX guns out there.
What's the most unusual thing you've had to repair?
Probably the worst is like when people jam the barrel full of pellets. This is like
no way.
This is so many. So this is a steel liner, and then the actual barrel that's swappable on FX guns is this part right here. And we've had probably 3 or 4 of these that are this bad. And this is like...
This is 40 some odd slugs.
Yeah, 40 slugs.
40?
There. And people just keep shooting and shooting and shooting when the gun's out of air or pressure. And it'll split this liner, and this liner goes in this housing.
Okay.
So it'll split bad enough that it pushes out and bursts it. So.
Wow.
This particular case, both of these guns have a carbon fiber sleeve. They were from a Pantera series.
Okay.
So that's a steel liner that's rifled, a carbon sleeve, and then a steel outer housing. And it broke through every single one of them. I mean, you can see the...
Yeah, so this steel liner...
That's insane.
Goes on the side of carbon fiber, and then this and this steel. So.
And they did enough damage there.
Yeah, so that's probably 40 or 50, you know.
You would probably hope that after the first one...
You'd think that.
You would think. I must not be on target.
Yeah. You know, and there's signs. You know, if you pull the trigger and it goes click and it sounds funny, and you pull your bolt back and it goes... That's the air from your shot that was pressurized inside your barrel between the slugs and the O-ring in the back, escaping once you break the seal.
Yeah.
So in center fire, I mean that could kill you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you send 2 rounds down that don't go out the barrel, you're in for a bad day. Obviously, this has a little more idiot prevention in it, but I mean, there's still a way to hurt yourself with these, right?
Right. Well, I mean, you also got to remember that you're dealing with extreme high pressure tanks, right? They're not like your pancake compressor at 20 psi. We're talking 46 to 3600 psi working pressures in the guns.
Okay.
So they're extremely high pressure. So you've got, that to contend with as well. So there's, yeah.
Well, cool.
And then all FX guns have a 3-year warranty.
3-year warranty. Okay.
So, we don't see a lot of warranty guns. Most of the stuff we see has been owned. It's outside of warranty, so it's repairs like that. But I'm trying to think now. I think the first FX Impact is kind of the most popular gun. Came out in 2014, and we still see those.
Wow.
The guys that own them and are happy with them, they just need a reseal, rebuild to get the most potential.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks for having me in here.
Yeah.
All right, Spencer. So where are we now?
So this is our shipping and packaging area. So this is where a lot of like our bulk storage is, and we've got storage all over the building. But this is kind of like our high frequency picked product.
And you guys ship all over the country.
All over. And then so like there's some stuff I wanted to show you earlier. So like here is
some big slugs, huh?
Oh, we're out of those.
Sold out.
So here's a 72 cal slug.
Okay. And is that expanded?
Yep.
Wow.
So, I mean, they're just huge. This is a 500 grain projectile.
500 grain.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yep.
Well, that's
so
cool.
there's a lot of projectile selections, and this is kind of where the most of our...
And because air guns, like you said, can just be shipped to anybody's door, you guys aren't dealing with FFLs. People can just call, say, hey, I'm looking for this, and it just shows up.
Some states do have a little bit more regulation with them, so I don't know exactly what. I think it's New Jersey and some other states in that area.
But for the most part.
For the most part, like 99%, you can just have them shipped right to your door.
Yeah, and that's such a huge attraction with it, right? Because you get the precision, you get the cost-effective shooting, all of it, and I don't have to deal with, like in Oregon right now, I can't even register a firearm. Like they're in the middle of this weird process.
Really?
Yeah, so I need a permit. The permit process hasn't been established, so therefore I can't register a firearm. So it's really weird. Yeah,
that's not fun.
But if I want an air gun, I can call you and boom, it comes to my door.
I'll ship you one.
Sweet. All right. All right, we are in an area that normally nobody gets to see, and this is your like legit storage. And if you ever thought, well, there can't be that many air guns or air gun accessories, like just check this out. Now they are about the largest, if I'm not mistaken, in the country, right, Spencer?
One of.
But I mean, just look at the sheer volume of everything that's in here. It's just insane. I mean, just gun after gun after gun.
Yep. So we usually have like multiples of each SKU in stock. So these are all the same gun. These are arrow shooters.
Wow.
And then all the way down, like each stack of guns is essentially a different SKU or like a cluster of the same SKU.
Sure, that makes sense.
Guns everywhere. Basically, this whole aisle is all guns, a few accessories on this side, and then...
And all of this is accessible on your website, obviously, right?
We sell all of it online. This is the back of what used to be the shooting range. So this used to be an actual gunpowder shooting range, hence the...
Yeah, I see that.
Traditional-looking shooting range wall. But, I mean, back here, again, more guns. This is all of our Air Force guns. There's some Benjamins. These are some chassis guns.
It's just never ending back here.
And like this is where you're at right now. This is all FX guns. These are a lot of our Dynamics and Panteras. So this is, just so many SKUs. We're getting into some of the more compact stuff. This is actually a super cool gun.
Oh yeah, what do you got?
So this is, it doesn't look like a gun case, right?
No, it looks like a nail gun.
Right. So
oh, that's cool.
This comes out, and then you just screw the bottle onto the gun, go shoot.
Pack it back up.
And it's got like a scope cut out for it and everything. So nice.
That's
little.
Cool.
This is basically the same block as like the gun I was showing you earlier. So from here, like this is the exact same gun that I was shooting upstairs, but obviously
just a different,
much shorter barrel, different rail setup, and then a different bottle setup on the back end.
But again, an air gun for every need.
Yeah, whatever you need, we basically got it.
Do you ship? So I'm seeing all the hard cases. Do you guys just throw a label on those, or do they actually get boxed up?
Yeah, so what we do is like if you're getting a gun build, we'll grab your gun, we'll go upstairs to the techs who we just met. They'll build it all, they'll test fire everything, make sure it's all good to go, mount it, sight it in, make sure it's tuned right, make sure you got like a good spread of your velocities.
Yeah.
And then from there, it'll go upstairs to our shipping team. They'll get all like your pellets, all your other accessories. They'll box it up. Then this box gets pulled and wrapped in bubble wrap, put in another box, and then we ship you the cardboard box.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, it is, because I've seen some companies where they just throw a label on it. They figure good enough's enough, and that's it. But you guys really take the extra step.
Yeah, no, we
there.
don't play around with shipping. It's important that you get your stuff properly and taken care of.
Very cool. Well, hey, thanks for having me down here. All right, we are heading over to the last thing we're going to look at, which is the air supplies, obviously the most important thing. So what do we got here?
So these are our like large fill tanks. So you'll have these filled at like a shop that does high pressure air tank fills.
Okay.
And then you can fill your gun off of this tank. Depending on your gun, you're going to get like 12 to 15 fills of like a large bottle.
Okay.
Like my Pantera, I can run one bottle, I can shoot a whole day with, a whole match.
So like this size, you're refilling this
Yep.
with this about 15 times.
Yes. Well, no, you're probably going to get 10 to 15 fills of like a big 700 cc.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we also, don't move. We also sell tank bags. So you can put like your tank in here, and then you've got accessories. So this is one from Odin Works.
Keep it protected.
Yeah. The big thing with these tanks is they have a 15 or 20 year, I don't know the number off the top of my head, shelf life. And
Okay.
every 5 years you have to get them recertified. And in order to do that, they have to meet certain safety criteria because of this intense high pressure. There's a lot of safety regulations around them. So super, super important that you get a tank bag for your tank so that you can keep it protected. Like if you get a deep gouge in the epoxy outside, most places won't fill it because it just compromises the integrity.
And what
of
about
the
people
tank.
who are like, well, hey, I've got something from paintball, or I've got something from scuba. Like, I'll just use that.
Probably not. The pressures are just so much higher than most guys are used to. So you need, do we have, we must have just sold the one we had here, but these are,
What are these?
These are some compressors that we have. We have a couple that are like as tall as my waist.
Okay.
It'll fill the big bottles. These are some other fill options. These will fill, like, you'll just plug them right into your gun, and then this will fill the smaller bottle on your gun, but it'll take 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Versus what we saw on the range, right? Like 5 seconds and you're filled.
But with these, you never have to go to another store to
Correct.
fill.
Yep. So this gives you a little bit more independence, but a little bit less flexibility and speed for recharging your tanks and all that.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
They also have your
Like a bike pump.
bike pump, but a 4,600 psi bike pump.
Jeez.
So it's a heck of a workout to get it filled up, and then that's pretty much most.
And then you
of
have
what
all
we've got.
the normal supplies for
Yeah,
shooting.
all
Like
like
if I'm
your
going to shoot
standard-
NRL or PRS or anything, you got the Armageddon
Yep.
gears. I love me a good schmedium,
Oh yeah, Tom's the best.
right?
Yep, he's got the best products. We sell
Really right stuff.
really right stuff. Tripods, Vortex tripods,
Yeah.
kind of everything under the sun. So we've got it all, and if you need anything, let us know.
I mean, it is literally a one-stop shop for everything you possibly need, and obviously, range bags, stuff like that.
Yep.
Very cool.
You
Very
should,
cool.
have you looked through element scopes before?
I have not.
So these are an awesome scope. So these are
Okay, element scopes.
these are Element Optics.
Okay.
They are one of my favorite scopes.
Okay.
And I shoot a lot of different scopes. But so this is the Theos. This is like their flagship model. Really, really, really good glass. Incredible reticle. Really like the reticle. But the best part about like these scopes.
Yeah.
So what's the process for normally like re-zeroing your turrets on a scope? Huge pain, right? Depending on the scope.
Most scopes.
Right? Okay, let's say that's my new zero. All I gotta do is take this screw off, turret comes off, set it to 0,
Screw it back down.
screw back down, and you're zeroed.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so these are awesome. The glass is super good. The price point's very, very competitive for what you get.
Yeah, it looks like most of them are sub 1,000.
Yeah, so like the Titan is around, you know, your $800 mark, your Nexuses. This is kind of their mid-tier scope. It's in like that $2,100 range.
Okay.
2000.
2000, and then the Theos
And
there.
then the Theos is 27,
Okay.
28.
So I mean, right in the
$2,800.
range of most of your high-end optics.
Yeah, and they compete very well. They have a lot of cool options. Like this is a laser range finding module that like you can clip onto like a top rail, like a diving board.
That's cool.
And it's got a little pressure pad. You give your pressure, you push the power button on the pressure pad, and we'll see if it'll. Yeah, so it spits out a yardage and then gives you your drop and your wind for whatever you program into it.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
like if you're out doing like pest control,
Yeah.
it's super easy. You put your target on your gun on the whatever you're shooting at, range it. It gives you a drop. Hold the drop, shoot it. It's super quick. It's very, very quick and very affordable. I think they're $500 to $700.
Wow.
Compared to 15.
That's cool. I have to check those out.
Yeah, those are super awesome.
All right, well, now that we've seen all of that, how about we go head into the indoor range, and we're
do
going to
it.
go see what this is all about. All right, so Justin, this is your indoor range. Walk me through what we've got here, what you can do here, what makes this unique.
I would say probably what makes it the most unique is obviously the look. You know, I wanted it to have that look and feel of like more of a shooting gallery than just say a gun range.
And that was totally my first impression. The minute I walked in here, I was like, that is like one of those old-timey shooting galleries, like hands down.
Yeah, and I'm a little embarrassed because this is about as bad as this range ever gets. As far as like, usually the back wall, we keep fresh stuff up there all the time.
Okay.
So anyway, hey, whatever it is, but it's unique that way because there's no obviously there's no noise, there's no recoil in here for
Yeah.
the most part with the air guns. So
No earmuffs.
no, yeah. So you're running no ear pros. Obviously, eye pros is recommended. But,
Sure.
But yeah, I wanted to have that feel of just a good, and the desert theme. So we've got sand on the floors, and that actually helps with,
Yeah, the
ricochet
feel.
and anything else. So,
And what's it cost? I saw some numbers, but I can't believe that's how cheap it is.
it's extremely inexpensive. So $20, two of you can come shoot for an hour.
Wow.
That's our guns, ammo, everything. You just show up and shoot.
And if I bring my own gun, what is it per hour?
$10.
$10 just to come shoot for an hour as much as I want.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And you've got automated targets.
Yeah, so we've got
Right.
target retrievers. So if you do want to shoot paper, you don't have to close range and walk down and get them. So we had, we go to target
Oh, nice. So that's where it is
target
up there.
retrievers. So,
Okay.
we'll bring in a target and kind of show you what. Even some of the standard targets that we kind of tune guns on and stuff, so you can see.
Okay.
Just,
And you provide chronos?
yep.
So you've got these FX, is it the FX
Yeah,
chronos?
so these FX True Ballistic chronographs.
Okay.
I mean, we also have the Garmin's.
The Garmin's,
We have,
yeah.
So whatever you prefer, but so this is our standard range target.
Okay.
This is typically what we use even when we're tuning guns, just a gridded target. So, sometimes you want to get in the nitty gritty and you want to hold on a fine aim point.
Yeah.
We'll just pick an intersect on these grid lines and go to work that way. But that's just one of the examples of kind of the standard range targets that
Nice.
we give out.
Now,
so.
I'm not super familiar with air guns, as everybody on my channel knows, but I'm assuming this is not what you would consider a good air gun group.
No, I'm not sure what they were doing, whether they were sighting in or, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, typically we want to see more like this hole for 5 shots.
Wow.
They're extremely, they're crazy accurate. So pellets or slugs, they're extremely accurate. So
And so, what do we have here?
So this is the FX Pantera. This has got a lot of aftermarket parts on it. So we've got the Undertaker rail from Air Marksman, which gives you a lot of Arca rail,
sure.
slots, and then on the inside there's also more weights internally, just like a standard center fire chassis. like
Okay.
the
Do you guys have weight limits in air gun?
No,
no,
No weight limits. Okay.
nope,
not typically.
no.
So,
Okay.
and then I've got my Sky Pod on it. This is my PRS competition rig. So.
Those sky pods are tough to beat for positions.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
So, and then I've got an upgraded Air Marksman bottle, which goes to a little bit higher pressure, just so I get a little bit higher shot count.
Okay.
And then running a Zeiss S5, the 5 to 25, and then some Eagle Vision adjustable rings.
I think that's one of the things people, like when I've talked to people about air guns, they're shocked that you guys are running full-blown center fire optics. It's not special optics. mean, you guys are running the same stuff we're running
Oh, yeah.
in center fire matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost an exact clone feel to my centerfire rifle. I even have my XLR weights.
Okay.
Just so that it feels the exact same on the bag
As your PRS
as my
gun.
PRS rifle. It's the same scope height, basically, same feel for everything aside from there's a bottle back here.
So now let's be honest, which one do you like shooting better?
I mean, they're both good. They're very, very different.
That is a great
Yeah,
answer.
which one do you like shooting better, Spence?
That is a
Yeah,
great,
they're both
great,
good. They're
great
both
option.
good.
Cool. Well, I think we're going to get this set up and we're going to see how this thing shoots. All right,
Ready?
Spencer, so you're getting this thing loaded up, and what are you shooting in yours?
So these are the Zan projectiles. This is their new 42.3 grain ELR slug.
Okay, that's this thing here.
Yeah.
Huh.
So 200 in a box. They come in a sleeve of 100 apiece.
Oh, wow.
So they shoot really, really good.
And so slug versus pellet, why am I going to choose one or the other?
Yeah, so your slug is going to be more like your traditional centerfire or rimfire bullet, where it's going to be gyroscopically stabilized with a high twist rate, right?
Okay.
So this is a 1 in 16 twist, just like your rimfire probably is.
Yeah.
And the difference is that a pellet uses a much, much lower twist rate, like 1 in 40, 1 in 38, or higher.
Oh,
even.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they're not, you don't want to get them spinning because they're aerodynamically stabilized by the skirt, right? So that's what keeps them kind of in line as they go down range, is that skirt drags through the air and keeps them drag stabilized.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so there's very little spin on an airgun pellet when it's flying through the air.
Okay.
So, but because of that, the pellets are like extremely accurate inside of like 100-ish yards.
Yeah.
But when you're pushing further than that, they really start to lose steam because of all of that drag.
Okay.
Whereas this is just like your normal bullets that just fly through the air way better. So you're going to get a way high BC out of something like this over like.
And
a
the
pellet.
slugs inside 100 are still plenty accurate.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
like I can shoot a really small group with this gun.
Well, we're hoping you're going to show us.
We'll see.
All right, we'll let you get loaded up.
Okay.
All right, Spencer, I'm looking at this tank. I see the cord coming off. You're going to fill up your, what is it? You got a little Zerk here?
It's a Foster fitting. So
Okay.
this is just a male Foster, just clips on. So want to make sure it's on there snug so it doesn't pop off.
Yeah.
So this is a bleed valve. So you close your bleed valve and then you open your tank valve. And then on the other side, you'll be able to see 2 gauges.
Let's see what we got here.
So
Oh, yeah.
On this specific gun, this top gauge is my reg pressure.
Okay.
And then this lower gauge is the bottle pressure, basically how much air is in the gun as a whole system.
Can you overfill? Like right now, you obviously haven't turned it back off. Does it just reach an equilibrium? And
Yeah, so the way that it works is like a pressure system, right? So this big bottle is just going to try and equalize the gun pressure to whatever this bottle is. So
Okay.
if this bottle is at 250 bar, it can't fill this to higher than 250.
okay.
Right, so depending on your bottle setup, so this bottle is a 300 bar capable bottle, so I can basically just open it up and it'll fill. But if you have a 250 bar bottle here, and then you've got higher pressure in your main tank,
Yeah.
you can just kind of feather it with your main valve here until you reach the pressure you want to. Then you close the valve and you bleed it.
Okay.
So it
All right,
bleeds
so-
off and then
Now you're ready to roll.
pops off.
Very cool.
Yeah, not too bad. Really, really quick to fill back up.
All right, Justin, you set my daughter up with something. What is she shooting? Because I had to come running over here when I heard this.
Yeah, I told her, I said, hey, I have a little something different than you're shooting here. So we brought out, it's called a Hudson Blitz. It's a semi or full automatic air rifle. So its rate of fire is about 16 rounds per second. So it's just a riot. This is what happens every time somebody pulls a trigger on these. It's just, you get the same, right? Just like, oh my gosh.
You like that, Malia?
Yes, cool.
Okay, Spencer, so we were busy over there with my daughter shooting some
Blitz?
full auto, the Blitz. In the meantime, you were shooting this little group. Now, how many shots is that?
That's only 5, so
Only 5.
yeah, I've shot 10 round groups that are pretty much like that, so they're really, really consistent.
Yeah.
And I didn't even turn my chronograph on, but like, I'd say my average foot per second spread is an SD of like 2 or 3
Wow.
over 10 to 40 shots.
And that's when the gun's like properly tuned, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like if it's out of tune, you're going to get much higher spreads.
Okay.
But
Cool.
spent a lot of time tuning the sucker in, and they're actually very easy to tune once you understand the principles of it.
Can I, how about we send that out and how about I try shooting it?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. Okay, walk me through what I'm doing here.
So here's your magazine.
Yep.
All the slugs are the back's towards us.
Got it.
Through the clear plate. This just slides into here.
Okay.
There's no retention or anything. It's just a friction fit.
Okay.
So in here, there's a little slot that interfaces with this barrel tenon.
Okay.
So that slides in, and then you just push the charging handle forward to put one into the barrel.
So this just goes in.
Yep.
No wrong way to do it, really.
Yep.
Okay.
It's really easy, and then
Am I all ready to go?
yeah, it's on ready to go.
Okay. Oh man, this is stable. Like this literally feels like a PRS.
No, it
rig.
feels exactly like a PRS rifle, right? That's exactly how I built it. I think the weight on it's like 21 and a half, 22 pounds.
It's the same as our F-class guns.
Yep. Yep, all the way back, all the way forward.
And then back and pull this out to empty.
Yep,
All
so
right,
now
I
it's
gotta see.
empty.
I think the first one. Whoops. I think the first one went off to the left a little bit, but
We should.
I think the other 4 were right in there. That thing shoots. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's a smooth one.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So I'm not gonna lie, that thing was fun to shoot. This this other FX over here.
Yeah.
This is another level.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? So this was my first shot, and then that was my last 4. So that's not bad. That was the last 4 right there.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I did pull that one a little bit, I realized.
good.
I'm not used to shooting bags. You know, it's so weird. I
Yeah.
shoot, I
Yeah.
shoot heavy prone stuff, and so anytime I go back to shooting like NRL or something, I mean, I'm loosey-goosey for a little while, and even at best, I'm marginal. So, yeah, that first one was out there, but boy, those last 4, you weren't kidding. That thing just puts them right back in there. All right, Spencer's going to do a little speed test here. So that's going
About 960.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was 2 feet per second spread so far.
4 now. I mean, that's ridiculously tight. How long does it take you to tune a gun like this?
10 minutes.
Wow. You know, sometimes with rimfire, different conditions, you're out there tuning, different ammo speeds, stuff like that. That's crazy. Gets this thing just up and running. An SD right now of 2.6.
Yeah, that's about right.
And you said you've kept those like around 3 or 4 on 20 or 30 shots, right?
Yeah, depending on the setup. Some guns are a little bit more tolerant than others.
Okay. So on a gun like this, I mean, this is obviously high-end gun, stuff like that. When it gets to the last shot, is the last shot the same as the first shot and then it just dies, or do you get a drop-off?
So the way that it works is you have your regulator pressure. So these guns are regulated, meaning that the bottle pressure is not giving its full power to the gun the whole time. So those 2 gauges that I showed you earlier, as long as the bottle pressure is above your reg pressure, your regulator is going to do all the work. So on this gun, the plenum is this front half of the barrel.
Okay.
So all the air that for each shot gets stored around the barrel, kind of like your powder charge, right?
Okay.
It's a contained space of air
Per shot.
per shot.
Okay.
Yeah, and so once you shoot, that air goes through the valving and out the barrel, and then the regulator allows the air from the bottle to go back through the gun and refill the plenum to the exact same pressure that you had it at before, which is why you get such tight spreads of velocity.
Wow,
So
that's
that
cool.
was
So that was 8 shots, 3.3 SD. So here was the 8 shot stats. We've got an SD of 3.31, averaging 950 feet per second, with a ES of 11. Again,
a bit large.
So like for me, I look at SD way more than I look at ES. Is it
For
the
sure.
same way with you guys?
Yeah, I would say I'm way more interested in what the SD is, but obviously you're always looking at what your extreme
spreads are.
spread is.
And so what did those 8 shots look like on
So
target?
that's a 8-round group. Those exact 8 rounds I just shot were that hole right here. So these were on the paper already. This was my aim point. I'm 0'd for 50, so I shoot a couple tenths high at 35.
So we're here at the indoor shooting range, and we ran into.
Justin from Justin Makes Repairs.
And so you do YouTube videos on airgun repair.
Yes, yes. So I usually find the guns that are not as often on YouTube, like the Hot Sun guns or the Air Max guns, and I'll go into those guns and figure out why they leak, why they don't work, and how to make them better.
Cool. Walk me through your rig here. This thing looks badass.
Okay, so this is the FX M3. This is my 25 cal, and I have the Element Optics Theos on it. This is the gun that I'll use in RMAC for the PRS. Very accurate gun, very fun gun to use. I've really enjoyed owning it.
Very cool. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
So what is this? Now, we saw this. This has a tank.
Yeah.
And this is traditional. This is something relatively new, right?
Yeah, so this is the DRS Pro. It's pretty different than the Pantera, which is what I'm shooting.
Okay.
So this is in an MDT Elite chassis. So this is the Elite forend with the Premier Gen 2 rear stock, I believe.
Okay.
So it comes from the factory like this with the MDT chassis. But what's different about this is you don't see any like large bottles like you do.
Yeah, that's what I'm
with the
looking for
Pantera,
here.
Right? So this faux magazine, this fake magazine well right here, this is the plenum. Like so around the Pantera, your plenum is around the barrel.
Okay.
Right? So you've got a smaller section of air capacity for that. All of your air capacity for each shot is inside here. So this has got some reliefs cut into it essentially.
Wow.
And then the air cylinder is the whole barrel. So in the middle of the barrel is the actual like barrel part of the barrel. And
Yeah.
then all the way around it is a pressure vessel.
Huh.
So all of the air for the gun is stored in the barrel channel.
So it's an air tank with a barrel down the middle.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. And do similar like results? They shoot
Yeah.
great. There's no discernible difference.
Right. The only discernible difference that I see is a little bit of shot count. So for me, a lot of guys are getting like 12, 15 shots
Okay.
per fill out of this, whereas I can get around 20 to 25 shots per
Okay.
fill out of this.
It's almost twice.
Yeah, and then I'm running this pretty hard, so I'm shooting these pretty fast. I think you'd struggle to get the same velocity and shot count out of this.
Okay, so a little
But-
bit of trade-offs.
Yeah, trade-offs, but your form factor is, I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, it's...
it's an MDT ACC Elite, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that brings up a question about the tank. So do you guys pre-charge tanks and then just swap tanks out, or is it always filled off of another tank?
So you can do either way. I would say that primarily what people are doing is they're getting like a large fill tank like this.
Okay.
And then from there, they take this with them to a match.
Okay.
Right, and then they fill off of that.
Okay.
But like with
Like
this,
I used to do paintball, right?
Yeah.
So I'm used to having a bunch of tanks on me.
Yeah.
And swapping out kind of thing.
so
Okay, so you can legitimately hot
yeah,
swap a
I
barrel.
can hot swap it, and it's this bottle has a check valve in it. So
Yeah.
this thing right here is
Yeah, there you go.
So this still has full pressure in it. So if I needed, like if I was just going out for a day and I had like my impact, for example, and I didn't want to take a giant bottle, I could take my normal bottle and a backup bottle that obviously be bigger than this, but
Yeah.
and then you just pull them off and then screw the other one back on. And you can do it while the gun is got air in it. You don't have to like completely degas it.
Okay.
So
That's cool. Okay, Spencer, my daughter was shooting this earlier, but walk me through what this is again.
that's the Hatsan Blitz. It's a full auto air gun.
I figured if she shot it, I need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a riot.
And so we're ready to go here, right? You loaded up the mag?
Yeah, you should be good.
Okay, let's see what we can find. Go
Yeah.
through some pellets
Go
pretty
through
quickly
pellets
there.
They even make an extended like 60 round oval magazine.
That is That is ridiculously fun. I want to go shoot a bench press match and just lay out all 15 rounds without ever, coming off the gun. I'll just be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was hitting a little, it looks like maybe like a little 1 or 2 inch plate down there, and it just kept going.
Yeah, they're awesome.
That's very cool. Thanks for letting me check that one out.
Yeah.
All right, Spencer. Well, I appreciate the showing around. That was a ton of fun. I really like the shooting gallery in there. In fact, I'm going to head back in when we're done.
Yeah.
But thanks for the hospitality. Thanks for showing us around. And next time I'm out here, I will be much more well versed in the air guns and hopefully have my own air gun
We'll
so
get
that
you
we
set
can do some shooting.
Yeah, well, if you need anything, you let us know. UtahAirguns.com. Come by the shop. We're in Orem, Utah. If you have any questions, give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll get you taken care of.
Cool. Thanks, Spencer.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's Utah Airgun. This place was so much more than I ever expected. The indoor range, the service, the shipping. Like, I had heard stories about this place. Now I understand why they are one of the best in the country. And I have to tell you, after shooting, we spent probably a good hour in that firing range. I am 100% hooked on getting myself an air gun, so it probably won't be too much longer before you see one in my hands. With that, I hope you have a chance to go out and shoot, have some fun, and we will talk later.